Hello, hello, everyone, if you're here. Mr. Beast, as you saw what Mr. Beast did, he said subscribe to PewDiePie 100,000 times. Why not do the same for Joey, but not count it and only do it for 2 hours? I'm doing Joey's World Tour, saying subscribe to Joey's World Tour for 2 hours. I know, best idea ever. I'm out of ideas. So that's what I'm doing today. Saying subscribe to Joey's World Tour for 2 hours. I'm going to set a timer in a minute here. Let me go to Google real quick and set a timer. Also, I have to shed this out on Discord. Yeah. Alright. I need to... How do I set timers? Set timer for 2 hours. I can't read the chat right now. Hold on. YouTube dashboard. This might not be accurate, but just bear with me here. Okay, guys? This is a stupid challenge that I wanted to do. And, I'm gonna go with it. Right. Thumbnail looks cringe, but alright. Here we go. Saying subscribe to Joey's World Tour for 2 hours. Come join. LOL. Alright. Boom. Everyone. Alright. Okay. I'm getting ready to start now. I can't read the chat, obviously. Hello, everyone. Hello. Okay. Hit the like button on my own video. And, alright. Reset the timer. I'll chat. I'll be reading the chat. Just don't worry about that. Right now, I'm setting the timer. And we're gonna start. So, here we go, guys. Starting the timer. Here we go. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Woo woo woo! Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Best food reviewer. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh, ooh. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh, ooh. Subscribe, 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 Joey's World Tour. Ooh, ooh. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Hello, Ben. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Ooh, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hold on a second, guys. I'm tweeting this to Joey. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. If my mouse would work. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 It would be really cool if Joey just joined in, just randomly. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour today. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. How many minutes in? Okay. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Ooh. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 And we are 10 minutes in. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hello, Smoking Reviews. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Thank you, Fishy. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 It's alright, man. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Woo! Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Yes, I am. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Ooh. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hello, Trump. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Thank you, JG. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hello, Leafy. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yes, subscribe. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 No. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. I'm not gonna lose my voice. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World 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 Tour. Subscribe to Joey's Tour. Yes, I am close to 1,200 subscribers. Joey's World Tour, subscribe to 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 Joey's Tour, subscribe to Joey's World 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 Tour, subscribe to subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's World. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I wish. I can't. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. We're an hour and 45 minutes in. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Thank you, Paul. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Please don't advertise Discords, please. How do I remove this post? I can't even remove it. Hold on. Hold on. Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Please don't advertise servers, please. I can't even delete it. Joey's World Tour, yeah, Joey's World Tour challenge. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Yes, we can post the Discord of Joey's World Tour if you guys want to join that. Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Hello Tels. Joey's World Tour, subscribe to 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 Joey's World Tour. I should have titled it saying this until Joey noticed me, but who cares? Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. The goal is to get noticed. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Woo 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 woo. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yeah, that's the Discord if you want to join that. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 21 viewers, thank you. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 There's an hour and 38 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Quality content. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe. Ooh. I'm gonna set the timer back. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Thank you. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's World Tour and PewDiePie. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour and PewDiePie. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour and PewDiePie. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour and PewDiePie. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour and PewDiePie. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I know they're evil. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe. We did it, guys. I knew he was gonna come. Yes. Thank you, Joey. It's my dream to have you come here. Gotta get you to 1 million, dude. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yes, I'm making him mod. Why not? Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to... Yes, I know. Thank you, Daniel. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Woo! Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Can't wait to collab, buddy. Me too, dude. That'd be awesome. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. I agree. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Woo! Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's... Yeah, Discord fan club. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Hello, Celsius. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Dislikes don't matter. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. It's all that fun that counts. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Hey, Flola. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. You already, Oh, thank you, Joey. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I am the Legend 27. Yeah, thank you. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yeah, road to 2K. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Absolute legend, yeah. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. I'll give you the rundown right now, guys. Hour and 32 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. And we have 12 dislikes to 15 likes. I don't care. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World 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 Tour. Yes, please save PewDiePie too. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I really do appreciate it so much. I'm in the middle of editing, so stay tuned for a new review later tonight. Thank you so much, buddy. Woo 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 woo. Awesome, Joey. I'll be sure to watch it soon. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Yes, East Coast. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Have a good one, Joey. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Good night, Joey. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 The stream's only 30 minutes right now. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's 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 World Tour. Hello, Freddy. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 That's my point, JG. We're doing it. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Just subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. That's where I get the idea from, Dark. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World 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 Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Absolutely, Joey. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joey's World Tour. Yes, you can. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Please don't joke about that. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World 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 Tour. An hour and 20 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Keep uploading content and never keep your eyes off your goals. Of course, Joey. Thank you for those wise words. I don't really care about dislikes and all that, but thank you for those wise words. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yeah, hit. I don't know. I don't really check that anymore. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yeah, that's the fan club. If you guys want to join. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I'm gonna need water after this. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Absolutely, Joey. Keep going on that video. I'll be sure to watch it later. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's 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 World Tour. We have equal amount of likes to dislikes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Thank you, Michael Greach. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Thank you, Travis. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 I don't care about dislikes, okay? Don't worry about it. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Let's subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Thank you, Assassinated Gaming 01. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 1 hour and 15 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 I'm gonna say it's Joe's World Tour now. Just strictly Joe's World Tour. I can't get that out of my mouth so fast. Okay. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Let me Snapchat this. Snapshot, so I can post it on Instagram later. Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Also, that's in my description if you want to follow my Instagram. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour, Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Hello, Moonshine. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Woo 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 woo. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yes, you can. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Don't worry, there'll be the stream will be on YouTube after this after it's over. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hello, Moonshine. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Hour and 10 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Oh, it's fine, Moonshine. It's alright. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 It's actually 9 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I'm just going to say Joey's World Tour now. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joey's World Tour. Joey's World Tour, 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Yes, he was earlier. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 If you guys want me to do PewDiePie next, leave a comment or subscribe to Joey's World Tour. I'm just using my phone. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 It's built into the YouTube. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 We are an hour and 5 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's World Tour later. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Oh wait, guys. I can't even think what I'm saying anymore. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 An hour and 4 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's Tour. Joey's World Tour. You must subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 We have been constant 10. That's awesome. Thank you guys. And we're an hour into the stream, but an hour left to say Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joey's World Tour. Hello. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 1 hour left, guys. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joey's World. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Hello, Oki King. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I know, right? Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. No, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Thank you. It is quality content. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Splay Basil since he's Trump. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. This has been going on for 2 hours, almost. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 56 minutes left. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 That's cool. Eons. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 You're welcome, Splay. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Trying to get him to 1 million. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World 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 Tour. Please don't use offensive language. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 53 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's 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 World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 It's your boy. Wait, it goes like, "What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. I'm back, baby." Something like that. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 See ya, Slay. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 51 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 51 minutes. All right. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Woo 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 woo. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Woo 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 woo. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Woo 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 woo. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Woo woo woo. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 49 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Yes, I am already subscribed on like 4 different accounts. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's 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 World Tour. 47 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 Make sure to subscribe to Joey, Orion, and of course JG. Yeah. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 46 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 45 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 It's getting cold in here. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 44 minutes. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 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 I'll do it with you for the next 7. Okay. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 42 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. You got it right. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour, subscribe to Joey's World Tour. 40 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Hello, Casey. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. I think I can too. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 39 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Actually, it's 38, but Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World 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 Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, and then subscribe to me for a collab with Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joe's World Tour. Hello, Diamond. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 35 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. So Joey can collab with me. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. So Joey can collab with me. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World Tour so Joey can collab with me. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 And then subscribe to me so I can collab with Joey. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World Tour so he can collab with me. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. We will get to 1 million for him. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World Tour so he can get 1 million. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Absolutely, JG. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 32 minutes. Yeah. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's World Tours. You have lost your mind. That's my plan. Hey, bud. Oh. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Instant happening. Don't mind it. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Also, it's 30 minutes left. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Hello. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Hello, 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 hello. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Hello, 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 hello. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Thank you, Chromebook. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joe's Tour. Yes, that's how it works. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Mr. Beast did the same thing. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to this. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 I can't do it for 24 hours because I have school. So subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 For all those who stayed the whole stream, I appreciate you. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 I might actually do that. I don't know. I'll do part 2 maybe. I don't want to, but maybe if you guys are, I don't know. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Yes, you are a true epic gamer. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Joe's World Tour. 25 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 He was here earlier, Casey. You just missed him. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Yes, get me to 2K if you guys can. I want to do the collab. Then I want. My next goal after that is to get him to 1 million. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Kind of surprised Bradley Finchfield isn't here. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. And that guy's like live streaming every day of the week. Yeah. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. We're 23 minutes left. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Nice, KFC. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 21 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tours. I love rain. Casey. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, especially on Sundays and Saturdays. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 20 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Hello, what's up? Nothing much. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. I would, definitely. I will go back and edit this maybe one day. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. I'm checking his sub count. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's. Don't worry, I'll make a song about this soon. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's Ways World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's 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 World Tour. 15 dislikes. Wow. Why are people so harsh? It's just me saying Joe's World Tour over and over again. He's a cool lad. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 So cool. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Yeah, we're 16 minutes left. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 15 left. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Thank you, Casey. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. I don't know why people are so harsh. It's just me doing what I love, you know? I don't see the reason why. And it's a joke, okay? I ran out of ideas. And I wanted to support Joey. So, that's why I did this stream. Joe's World Tour, subscribe to 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 Joe's World Tour, 13 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 12 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. I'm crazy. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 10 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Hello, JG again. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 9 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 8 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 7 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Subscribe to Joe's Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World 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 Tour. 5 minutes. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Joe's World Tour, subscribe to 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 Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, 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 subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour, subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 3 minutes, guys. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 2 minutes left, guys. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. 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 Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joe's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe. 1 minute. Ooh. Subscribe. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. It's more than a feeling. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's 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 World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. Subscribe to Joey's World Tour. World Tour. World Tour. 30 seconds. Joey's World Tour. Subscribe to 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 Joey's World Tour. I've done it. It's finished. We've finished the live stream. The goal of the live stream. We got Joey in the live stream. That is heroic, or well, not heroic. I would say extraordinary. We got Joey in the live stream. I didn't expect it, but it happened. I'm happy that this stream was successful. We got over like 21 people in here at one point. You guys are amazing. If you stay here the whole stream, you guys are truly epic gamers. And whoever disliked, you're not cool, okay? Whoever disliked the video, you're not cool. Alright? We're trying to help each other out here on this channel. My goal was to help Joey get more subscribers and get him to 1 million. That is my goal. Once I hit 2,000, I'll collab with him, and then after that collab, I'm gonna help him get to 2 million. I mean, 1 million subscribers, because he deserves it. He's been at this number for a while. I want to get him to the big numbers, okay? I don't care if it has to do with billboards, advertisements. I don't care. We're going to help Joey hit 1 million after the collab. If you guys aren't already subscribed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, join my Discord, social medias are all down there. And thank you for attending this stream. It means a lot. If you stay here the whole stream, you guys are epic. And thank you. As always, stay super chill, and I'll see you in the next live stream. We'll be in a month from now. It'll be a Christmas live stream. I just don't want to stream that much anymore. It's just not fun to me. And hope you enjoyed this live stream, and I'll see you next time in the next live stream video and the review show with Orion. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video or live stream.